Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, I'm ScrapMan, bringing you another episode of Trailmakers, and today we're going to be attempting to build a creation that flies purely based on cannon power. Now, we've done something similar a while back before this cannon existed, and we were using the small cannons and the large cannon here, but this tank cannon is particularly powerful, but also particularly slow. And now that I say that, I don't know what the timing is for this compared to the other ones, but in the last video that we did where we had the gigantic wall of tank cannons, which looked like this, I'm not even going to spawn it in because it was, quite frankly, game-breaking. If you missed that episode, make sure you go check it out because there were some things I did not expect to see in that episode. But anyway, for this episode, we're going to try to build something that flies using only tank cannons as the propulsion method. Now, I am curious here. I want to see how the tank cannon compares to the rest of the cannons as far as how quickly it'll fire and how strong it actually is, because I don't actually know the answer to these questions. So the first thing I'm going to do is just have them all here. I'm going to hold down the space bar and we're going to see how fast they fire in comparison to each other. Here we go. Okay, so it seems like the large cannon and the tank cannon have the exact same fire rate, and the small cannon has exactly twice the fire rate of those two. Oh boy, they're all falling around us. All right, I think it's done. Now I want to test out recoil. So I'm just going to keep the same creation here, and I'm just going to fire this once, and we're going to see how far it recoils this. Okay. All right, not very much, not a lot. Let's see how the large cannon affects it. And oh wow, that actually tipped us over. Now, I don't know if the tank cannon is more or less powerful than the large cannon, to be honest. So let's see how this goes. That's interesting. Oh, you know why that is, though? I think the actual center of thrust for the tank cannon is lower than the center of thrust for the large cannon. Because if you look at where the projectile is actually coming from... Okay, that did not stick, apparently. Yeah, if you look at where the projectile is actually coming from, the large cannon is above the center of the tank cannon. So I think that answers that question as far as why it's tipping over, but... as far as the strength, they might be very similar. So I don't know how big of a difference there is between these two. It could just be an aesthetic thing, but either way, we're gonna try to use this one in particular to fly in today's video. So now the main challenge that I can see with this is that the fire rate is very, very slow. So trying to keep a consistent thrust is gonna be very difficult. Getting off the ground might be kind of difficult unless I could build it to stand vertically and then we kind of go up and then fly horizontally. So that might be something to consider. But I don't know my strategy yet as far as how this thing is going to look. We're just going to start building it and hope for the best. So I guess I'll see you when we have a prototype. Let's get building. All right, guys. That didn't take very long. We have the simplest test or prototype I could imagine. We've got two wings, we've got a tail fin, we've got the cannon, and we got some aerodynamics in the front. And I just realized this isn't going to work at all for control because I use the cockpit seat, which means I don't have any control over the seat itself. And I didn't put any manual controls for the wings too. But let's just see how this thing goes, and then we'll try to build a more real controllable version. All right, that was a fantastic start. I forgot that when the cannon shoots the ground, it creates an explosion. Yeah. Oh, actually, what happens if we do this? But you've never seen something so fast and terrifying. This thing looks I think it actually looks kind of cool. It's funny. So that just made me realize that this method of taking off is not ideal. Not ideal at all. So we're going to have to turn this thing down like this. And the problem now is we're going to have to be able to take off from the ground. All right, so I'm going to keep building and hopefully, eventually, we'll have something that flies. Let's get to it. welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I've come up with so far. It is not the most visually appealing thing, but it was really difficult to fit the cannons on here because the issue with the cannons is that they shoot explosive projectiles, and if they hit any part of your creation, you're going to explode. If they hit the ground too close to your creation, you're going to explode. So this thing is very difficult to take off without exploding, and it's best if you take off of a cliff, because as soon as you start to pitch up, you just explode. And I'll give you an example of that right now. So if I try to pitch up here, it's totally possible. If we get enough speed, up, and then there you go. You can see we've already exploded our tail fins. So that makes things really difficult. So it's best if you just aim towards a cliff and just go straight off of it like that. And then you can pitch up. And then you can fly. It actually flies. So it actually took me a little bit of tweaking to figure out how many cannons I was gonna need to be able to get the lift and the speed that I needed. And then I actually had to add some more weight to the front because there was so much lift in the front, but not nearly enough in the back. So there was just a weight distribution issue, center mass versus center lift, all that stuff. So as you can see, it works. And let's see if we can land up here. Nice. Okay, we're gonna fall off. I have no brakes, by the way. No reverse, no brakes. I could add an engine to this thing, actually. But that would add some more weight that might not be good. Can we actually... Oh, we can't even get off here. Actually, you know what? Let me try. Let me try adding an engine somewhere. I could probably just add one, like, right in here. Yeah, there we go. All right, now we can actually drive this thing around, which is gonna make it much easier to position ourselves to take off. All right, and... Can we do it without exploding? Hey, it's working. It's actually working pretty well. So the weight difference of the engine didn't make too much of a difference. We're barely fast enough to maintain level flight. Going up, we can go up. We definitely lose some velocity and risk stalling out. But for the most part, this thing has a decent amount of control, and it leaves a path of destruction behind it. Oh, boy. Oh, okay. That's what happens if you turn too fast. Since the cannons aren't actually sticking out of the back, I think the tail is sticking slightly past the cannons, so there's a small chance if you turn too sharp that your cannonballs, your projectiles will hit against these and explode them. All right, so I think the ultimate test of a successful aircraft, in Trailmakers at least, is to be able to take off and then land on the aircraft carrier without damaging yourself. I mean, it's not the ultimate test. I think that's the basic test, to be more realistic. The most basic test of a decent aircraft is to take off from the ground and then land on the aircraft carrier. So that's what we're going to try to do now. Oh, and I actually forgot to go into a little bit of the detail about how this is working. You can probably figure it out just by looking and listening to it. But I have a couple of sets of cannons here, and I have them all rotating in 4 sets. So they take 1 second to cycle through a single firing rate. That was a terrible way of saying that the firing rate of these cannons are 1 second. So I have 4 sets of them firing all at the same time, but 0.25 seconds offset from each other. So that way, every quarter of a second, a set of 2 are firing. And then the one in the middle is just going with the first set. So there's just a little bit extra power on the first set, and then the rest just kind of follows. So that keeps a consistent thrust, rather than having just one big thing of thrust and then nothing for a whole second. All right, here we go. We're at the aircraft carrier. We did a little bit of a loop around. Let's see if we can let... I thought that was going to go better than it did. I guess we're going to have to try again then. All right, and taking off. I love how smooth that takeoff is. It's just you go straight off the cliff and you just don't fall. It feels really good. All right, this time we're just going to go straight for the carrier instead of circling back around. And hopefully, without needing to circle back around, we won't hurt ourselves here. All right, if we can pass this basic test here, we can probably try some more advanced tests, like going through hoops of fire. Let's see if we can do this first without exploding. All right, nice and gentle. Nice and gentle. There it is. Check it out. Not too bad if I don't say so myself. All right, so now that we've passed the basic test of an aircraft, flying to an aircraft carrier, landing on it, now let's see if we can pass intermediate test, which is flying through a hoop of fire. Is that intermediate? What would be more difficult? What would be like the advanced test? I don't know. Let's start with the intermediate test. All right, I don't know. Whoops. Oh, this is bad. This is very... Oh, go, 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 go. We can still do this. We can still do this. We can't do this. I've realized an issue with setting my engines to W and S is my S is used to take off, and that is also used to turn my engines on in the reverse direction. So that makes it a little bit more difficult to take off when your engines are fighting your speed. Okay, we need to get up. We really need to get up. We need more speed. We need to get up in the air if we're going to have any hope of getting those hoops of fire. So this is going to take some time because we can't just go straight up. We're too heavy for that. All right, we've managed to gain some altitude. Now it's just a matter of trying to maintain control so we can actually go through the hoop of fire. Now I have no yaw control. It's purely roll and pitch. So that's all I can do to turn. So these subtle adjustments are not the easiest thing. Okay. Okay, look at that. Oh, look at that. That felt easy. Now let's try to go. We're gonna do a wide. No, I'm gonna still maintain control. I can do this. I can do this. Come on, come on. Oh, I can't do this. Man, losing the tail fin just loses all control. Oh man, I could try to move either the cannons back or the tail fins in to prevent that from happening. I don't know how that's gonna look for the aesthetics though. So basically, if I do that, this should get rid of that problem, but this is going to change our center of lift and might affect us in a negative way. I don't know, but this should prevent us from exploding. So let's find out. All right, well, things seem to be working pretty well so far. Ooh, I have an advanced or more advanced challenge. I'm going to try to fly. You see the ramp up there? I'm going to try to fly in between that grid support beam on that ramp up there. I feel like there should be more triangles in that grid support though. It feels a little bit not the most structurally sound thing. All right, I'm gonna go for like the small one over here on the right hand side. All right, go down. Oh boy, oh boy. Hey, look at that. That's not too bad. Now how about going through the hoop? This thing's turning out, oh, we got off time there. This thing's turning out a little bit better than I expected, actually. We have some decent control here. As long as you're really subtle and slow with your controls, you can kind of go where you want. And what more could you ask for in a plane? Oh, what if... That sign is frustratingly positioned for this hoop here, but I'm going to try to go through the hoop without hitting the sign. Hey, look at that. No problem. I think I made a pretty good craft here. I have a question that I don't know the answer to right now. Can you trigger the hydraulic press if you fly over the press zone, or do you have to be on the ground? Let's see if we can fly under the hydraulic press, and is that going to make it try to crush us? I really don't know the answer to this. All right, well, here goes nothing. Oh, look at that. I'm actually kind of disappointed. I was hoping that it would try to press me, because then we could try to make like flying things that go fast enough to avoid the press. Well, let's see if we can go low enough. Maybe it's not the ground. Maybe it's just lower to the ground. So I'm going to try to fly lower to the ground here. Uh-oh, that's not as low as I meant to fly. Gentle. Oh, not too much here. Go, go, go. Oh! Our seat didn't explode. How did our seat survive that? This is not the invincible seat. I'm impressed. I think we've survived the hydraulic press by flying through it. All right. Uh-oh. Well, this beautiful wow. Our seat survived again. Is there something strange about this vehicle that makes the seat kind of invincible? So you guys asked for it and you got it. And this actually turned out to be a little bit better than I thought it was going to be. I knew we were going to be able to fly. I just didn't think the control was going to be all that great. And as you can see, we were able to fly everywhere we wanted to. We went through the hoops. We went underneath the ramp. We went through the rings of fire. So leave some more comments down below on what else you'd like to see in Trailmakers. And let me know what you thought of this. What would you have done differently? Is there a way to get more cannon power without just making big blocks of cannons because they interfere with each other if you try to put them anywhere else other than just right beside each other. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you haven't already, and I guess I'll see you in the next video. Bye.